Welcome to our fireside chat. Thank you all for being here. Super into the crowd for the retail New Year. And I want to thank Debra for being here. She is such a trooper because she actually had a concussion a few weeks ago. And she's still here, she still managed.
Hence the notes.
Yeah, but still a trooper, and I'm really, really appreciative of her coming by and like just having this quick interview. I promise not to grill you too much, but thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it. I know hospital visits and all that, not fun, but thank you. So yeah, maybe we could just jump right in. You can maybe just tell us a little bit about like yourself, what your background is, how you ended up at the Château, and what you do there now.
Sure. So, hi everyone. Again, apologies in advance for the notes. Normally I would talk completely off the cuff, but I lose my words and I forget my thoughts, hence the notes. So, who I am. I'm now VP e-commerce at the Château, and I've been there for the last 3 years. Prior to that, I spent many a year on the agency side, too many years to actually recall. And I actually started off in a media buying agency, which at the time was quite a revolutionary thing. You know, at the time, really creative agencies were it, and media was this little sort of entity that got maybe 10 minutes of a 2-hour meeting. And retail was my specialization. So I worked on Reitman's, I worked on the Aldo Group, and I worked on the Château.
We have a few of those people here. Yeah, exactly.
From?
Related.
Yeah. 2015, I left the agency, and my old pals at the Château came calling, and I joined them in my current role. And really what I'm doing is kind of the same coin, but the other side. And I brought all of my experience and know-how to the role, and at the same time, you know, a fresh new perspective on how to do things in the retail world, and this, to Caitlin's point, real-time, immediate, ever-changing, yesterday means nothing, tomorrow is irrelevant sort of viewpoint. So, yeah.
A long way from billboards and print media, definitely.
Yeah.
So I'm really familiar with the team because I've been pretty much spending a lot of days there in the last few weeks. I have my own office there now, literally. But that being said, maybe you could tell them a little bit about the team, the company, like how it's set up, and sort of why Salesforce. Like you were previously on Cheetah Mail. What sort of made you guys sort of make the jump, and how are you finding it?
Okay, so probably like many of you in the room, we have an addiction to email at the Château. And I don't say that lightly.
They send emails every day.
You work there. When I started, we were sending 11 emails a week. And one of the things that I absolutely put in force under no uncertain terms is no more than 1 email a day, which is progress for us. And the addiction is really, we kind of come by it honestly, in the sense that it's a huge driver for revenue of our e-commerce site and corporately in general, right? So it's a legitimate addiction. We were with Cheetah Mail. It's an email service provider, that's what they do. But we came across Salesforce as a much more robust, I mean, to Caitlin's point, I don't really think I have much to say. We want to do and are looking to do what Caitlin described that company, sorry, I forget the name, is doing, simply. And really Salesforce being the platform that it is with its capabilities and its multi-dimensional focus, I mean, it was just the answer that we were looking for. So we signed on with Salesforce in October, I want to say, and we migrated everything that we were doing with Cheetah Mail to Salesforce as a first step. And then we kind of sat back and we're like, okay, well, how do we actually do all the things that this tool is capable of doing with big blanks and big questions?
Yeah, that's one thing. Another reason why I wanted Debra to come and speak to their experiences. They're just fresh onto Salesforce. Like since October, they've done, I mean, they're sending their daily emails there, but they've also done 16 journeys that are setting up and running. There's birthday, there's cart abandonment, there's post-purchase. I mean, not going to mention all of them, I think they're going to kill me. But all that to say, they've really done a lot in such a short amount of time, you know. So we often hear about these like legacy customers that have been using the tool for like a year, 2 years, and they're like everything's running smooth and it's great, but it's really awesome to see what they've accomplished in such a short span of time. And having worked with them a little more closely now, I really see progress there.
So I think it's largely attributable to you. We signed on with Incloud as a partner, and Anna has become a fixture in our office. Really,
yeah,
honestly,
I wasn't
she really
joking.
does. No, she's not joking. She has become a fixture in our office. She's hands-on. She's get the job done. There's nothing that's not my job. And what we have done is we've integrated various disciplines into the Salesforce training and evolution, if you will, where previously email was the domain of marketing and marketing only. We now have analytics and planning and of course tech and marketing and content, and everybody is involved and working together and taking ownership of it. But it's really, honestly, it's due to the expertise, the expertise of this. Of Anna and your team, that we've been able to make the progress that we have in a short period of time.
Yeah, and that's actually one thing I saw with them. Every organization, when you get a tool like this, it's cross-functional, and you think your team and your departments are all cross-functional, then you realize everybody works in silos, and you're like, shit, now what? And this is the type of thing, like watching the change management, the governance process over there, and sort of how they manage to still get so much done is what makes kind of working with the Château pretty awesome, And but it's not all rainbows and sunshines. I know there's like some roadblocks. Maybe you could speak a bit more of that, like any challenges along the way, or like during the implementation after, like what was really not fun.
Okay, so I think the biggest challenge that we had, and like I said, we're beginning to overcome it, was this siloed approach, when we didn't even really realize that we had it. So tech, our tech team, we were the first to implement the tool. I mean, we were coming into Q4, we had to get up and running for this magic Black Friday time period. And so, tech kind of took ownership of it and had it in its black hole. And I think the biggest challenge that we had to overcome was the realization that we were siloing it, and having to break down those silos, and get kind of the right people in the various cross-departments engaged to come to the table, to take ownership of it, to be interested, to be willing and excited about, embarking on learning something new. I mean, listen, we learn something new every day, but in our organization, it was seen as a marketing tool, and one that marketing and tech kind of had, and don't bother us in content, and definitely don't bother us in planning, do your own analytics, that kind of thing. And it's such a robust tool with so much capability that we now see that once we've sort of overcome that and broken it down, how much more valuable it is to our entire organization.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if you guys have experienced something similar. Like, I know it was the same at Writings for a while, where tech kind of owned the project, and then they're like, yeah, we're done here, good luck.
Yeah.
And marketing was like, what is this? Like, it had to totally, she's like, not even sure if your head's gonna like fall off.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that's really common in retail, because the marketers are sort of not involved, they're not implicated in the meetings at the beginning, and then later on there are the people running the store, and there's people that have to sort of grab the ball while running and like now score good luck. So the Château's not any different. I saw that in October as well, but still proud, still super proud. But in terms of like
headway, we definitely are making good headway. And honestly, I really could have just stood up here and said, anyway, our goal is to do what Caitlin described to all of us that company is doing, and sit back down. So
Steve, I think they need you directions to do. That being said,
side note.
That being said, what's success look like for Château? What's your measurement of success? What KPIs do you look at? What's sort of important for you now that you have the school? I know, like, I remember seeing logos like the Château and all that, but with Salesforce, what's success for you guys?
Well, I think that the implementation of Salesforce has kind of raised the bar for us in terms of what does success look like. That would be the first thing that I would say. I mean, KPIs for retailers, I think for most of the retailers in the room, I mean, they're all the same. Right? I mean, we want to sell stuff. I think pure and simple, right? I mean, we want to drive traffic, we want it to convert, we want our AOV to be at a certain place, we want the engagement metrics there, we want to sell stuff. But again, I'm going to go back to sort of what Caitlin said, and some of the things that Anna is bringing to our table is this whole real-time analytics. As a matter of fact, Anna has actually designed a real-time dashboard for us, whereby our team is actually looking at what happened. Maybe it's not this hour. In our case, maybe it's today, and then implementing it literally like on the fly, making changes for tomorrow based on what it is that we saw for today. So that's huge progress for us. I mean, we are in an absolute reactive mode, but we're on higher alert and we're making decisions and customizing approaches based on more robust real-time information. I'd say that's probably the biggest change.
Something just happened this week where we were looking at stats on Monday and we were noticing a trend in like a specific type of content email. I'm not gonna Debra's gonna kill me if I divulge too much information, but we literally affected the email subject line and the email content for right away the next day, just based on, we were noticing a trend after 2-3 weeks of data, and then it's not even a test anymore, we're just like implementing it. And what's really cool about the team also, no, it's still not working. What's really cool about the team is they're really eager to learn, they're really eager to they see something, they start asking questions now. It's not just me dictating the conversation and saying like, oh, this is what I think it should, now I'm like, okay, so what does this mean? And they're like starting to, draw their own conclusions, have their own hypothesis, and it's really cool to watch, and they're very eager to learn, they're very,
everybody's super engaged.
They're super great, yeah, it's a super great bunch, like it's really fun to see.
And interestingly, like people who you wouldn't necessarily would think would be interested or engaged with this type of tool.
Yeah.
Like it's obvious that the marketers or the analytics people or even the tech people would be interested, but perhaps less so the content people and the planning and the ones who bring that merchant thinking to the table. They're also engaged with it. So
like everybody's downloaded the app, and not because I forced them, like I might have forced them a little bit at the beginning, but now like everybody's like looking at the app and they're like, hey, did you notice today's subject line? I'm like, okay guys, it's like an hour into the send, like they might want to like chill. But it's that type of culture shift that's happening, and like that's what's kind of awesome to see over there too. Yeah, like you only see this with fresh new implementations, and I kind of forgot because I haven't done one in 2 years, but that's what's really awesome about that. And speaking of change, speaking of like transformation, like the Château went through its own transformation, sort of in terms of like branding, rebranding, changing all that. Maybe you could speak to a little about that, like what that looked like.
Sure. So I guess many of us in the room kind of know Le Château from its heyday of being sort of a club wear, going out, leather, stiletto, shiny suit type looks. I certainly remember it from my days at the time.
I remember being stuck in a changing room trying to take off leather at Le Château, but yes.
TMI. And really, the brand has evolved and kind of grown up with its consumers. So, today we're targeting that kind of sweet spot of 25, 49 urban, mostly female professionals, and really sort of positioning ourselves as being able to kind of dress her from head to toe, everything from the clothing to the shoes to the outerwear to the accessories, kind of this sort of one-stop shop. E-commerce, which I'm responsible for, I think launched around 2010, which was before my time there, but we have really seen it take off in recent years with various strategies and tactics, and Salesforce, kind of being one of them and the newest one. And listen, I encourage you all to kind of take another look, because what I hear over and over again is that people are pleasantly surprised. It's like, really? It's not your mother's brand, it's not your kid's brand, like, really?
I was pleasantly surprised. Like, I was forced to sign up at the beginning, but now, like, it's kind of cool. Like, you're looking at the emails, there's interesting content. It's not what I thought. Menswear is stronger too. Like, I would have never sort of like looked at that, but that's pretty interesting too.
Yeah, listen, it's 60 years old this year, Le Château, which is quite a proud statement to be able to make. And we're still having lots of fun.
Yeah. So what's next? What's any cool projects? What's next on the
definitely time for a drink. Listen, it's an ever-changing environment. No 2 days are the same. Every day I come to work, it's something else that's got to get done. You know, Luxe shoes this week and the wedding boutique that week. There is a big push towards wedding boutique, which is basically being able to service the bride and groom and their wedding party and their guests, again, dressing them from head to toe. It's kind of a niche, makes a lot of sense environment for us because we've done, you know, big special occasion business over the years. But equally, to Anna's point, we're looking to build men's business, shoe, footwear business, accessories business, and so ask me tomorrow what's on the table, because today it's today, and you know, tomorrow will be tomorrow.
I mean, you guys live and breathe retail. You know, like the email based on sales, based on like everything changes from like the day before. And I forgot that. And then I remember my first day in the office, like I was at the Château and everybody's running around and I'm like, oh yeah, this is like, I forgot what this is like, but it's definitely fun to be back in it.
Listen, it keeps everybody on their toes. It keeps things fresh and fun and exciting. There's never a dull moment. And I also find it makes for a very collaborative and very well-aligned team because everybody's got to work together. You know, buying will yell, oh no, we've got to do floral blazers, and then, you know, content will kick in, and marketing will come to the table, and tech gets involved, and, you know, all of a sudden everybody's involved. So I think that makes it kind of nice, and, you know, my points earlier, you know, we're breaking down silos every day, and really working as a team.
All right, so I'm just going to wrap things up because I can't speak this loud for too long without alcohol. But one really, really, really important last question. You can think about it if you need to, but what is something that your team constantly makes fun of you for?
It's not all that exciting, but I do have a history, and I bring this history from my previous job, is that literally anytime I walk towards the printer, in front of the printer, or anywhere near the printer, the thing goes on the list. But I mean anytime. So really everybody just move away from the printer, don't go anywhere near that thing. Whatever you need to print, email it to me, we'll take care of it.
But yeah, cool, all right. Well, thank you